1 point separates third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. It's incredible. And really, the big talking point is Spurs, who were so far away. Like, just 5 or 6 weeks ago, we were talking about them as title contenders. But that run of form that they've been on has been so disappointing. It's dragged them very much back in to this top four. You take a look at their last 5 Premier League games. They haven't won any of them. They've lost 4 of them. They've dropped 14 points. But
I think they showed today at Liverpool, even with injuries, I think they are still probably the best of the rest.
Yep,
right?
that's it.
And I think even though they dropped points today, they showed that. I think when you look at Chelsea, in comparison, it's clueless.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still playing Jorginho. You know, got Ruben Loftus-Cheek comes off the bench. I've talked about changing the dynamic for them. He should be playing. Hudson-Odoi was a star for England. He doesn't even get on. Now, there'll be some that say, well, what does it matter? Chelsea won. Chelsea were lucky.
Right.
Chelsea were lucky. Spurs, you might say, were a little unlucky.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be over... I mean, obviously, it's concertina now. But in terms of the way they're playing, I wouldn't be overly concerned.
How concerned would you if you were Spurs at the moment, Steve?
Listen, they'll be concerned. They're 1-5, so there's no way they're going to be sitting there thinking, oh, well, we're better. Listen, they're better than United, Arsenal and Chelsea. But I'm sure they're not sitting going, well, we don't need to worry because we're better than them. But the fact is that I think 6 of the 7 games are against teams in the lower half of the league that I expect them to win. I think they play City. That's the only big game they have. So as far as the games to go, they're good enough to win 6 of those 7.
Right.
Probably won't beat City. So I think they'll be fine. I don't trust Chelsea. You don't know what you're going to get.
Arsenal are playing Newcastle tomorrow. That's the game.
They could go to third tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not? What's the hazard? I don't know. Was it the international football? Eden Hazard on the bench? You know, Man United. We know
nobody knows.
Well, he said before. He said it was because of the number of games he's played recently.
And Kante on the bench. Jorginho still plays.
Same thing.
Here's the thing, by the way. So Chelsea, I assume, want to be in the top 4, and he's turning around and trying to use the number of games recently. Are you having a laugh? They've got 8 games to go.
Well, Europa League as well, though, Stephen.
All right. 10 or 11 games to go, so what? You should be able to play the last 10 or 11 games. I don't care who you are. Right. I don't care how many games you've had this season. This is the business end of the season. You put out your best 11 or whatever you think is the best 11 to win every single game between now and the end of the season. You don't try and be clever and leave your best player out. Just complete and utter madness. And that might be the reason why, because of this guy, they don't get in the top 4. Because player for player, I think they're better than Arsenal and Man United.
Yeah.
They are, but I mean, if Unai Emery drags this Arsenal squad into the top 4, that's a hell of a job.
Right.
I mean, that's a heck of a job. And I know people will say, well, you guys criticised Arsene Wenger for getting top 4, but that's different. He built the base. It was his team. Spent whatever money, he decided who got new contracts. Emery's just in the door. He's trying to clean up that last few years of a little bit of a mess, certainly in the league. If he does that would be unbelievable. But I tell you what, I think the Chelsea fans were singing about sorry before we actually won the game.
And you don't know what you're doing was chanted as he made those substitutions as well.
I mean, the whole thing there, he has to either do something dramatic towards the end of the season, Maurizio Sarri, or he has to win the Europa League to get in the Champions League, or he is 100% gone.
They've got Brighton midweek, and of course, as we mentioned, it is Arsenal against Newcastle tomorrow. We'll be looking back at that game on our next show.